All right. All right, guys. So I've got Suzanne on the channel, and it's an absolute privilege to interview her, the CEO and founder of Zortrex. She's a very leading industry player in the IT blockchain field with immense experience, many, many years of experience. She's really grown into somebody who's very credible. I think that's the way she comes across, is very credible. And, LinkedIn is a great place, and we met on LinkedIn, and it does marvelous things. And today we're going to be talking about Zortrex, about what these guys are doing, and we're going to talk about blockchain and how they are a leading company in this industry, talking about data protection, which is a very serious issue, as you know, especially with all the hacks that are going on. So it's exciting to have you, Suzanne, and it's exciting to have you on the channel. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we talk about the company.
Basically, my background is financial. I've watched people's bank accounts get emptied through fraud. Cyber criminals have been at large.
Yes.
And part of my job is to secure data, whether that's employee data, personal data, sensitive data, financial data. And I've always taken that very seriously because it can have an adverse effect on my future career. So I'm Susan. I have over 35 years in the financial industry. And 4 years ago, over 4 years ago, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do something about this. And here I am today.
And here you are today, and do look at us, Suzanne, because I think you're doing a great job and tackling a very important issue. So, Suzanne, Zortrex, it's all about the company, the one that you founded. You said you want to do something about this. Tell us why you started the business.
So basically, over 4 years ago, I decided and I identified a gap in the market. And that was to protect sensitive data, personal data, financial data, medical data. One of the biggest challenges across organizations has been facing is the data protection and the data security. And while this has been lacking, the cyber criminals have been at large.
And I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. Cyber criminals are doing more and more damage to big organizations over time. And we'll talk about statistics in a minute about what some of the reports have come out from data hacks. And I think what you're doing with the people I'm connected to would surely agree to some of the credibility Zortrex brings. So tell us, what problem is Zortrex actually solving in this area?
Globally, the world has reached epidemic levels of identity theft and fraud. And Zortrex has been working behind the scenes to secure the people's identities, financial data by tokenization security. And in a way to solve this problem, every identity, contract, financial decision, all requires to be secured from the cyber criminals.
Wow. And was this a passion? Was this something that was sort of in you? Because I can tell there's a passion somewhere where you wanted to.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I can feel the energy. So tell me.
It's devastating in companies when the cyber criminals go in and empty the bank, and they have nowhere to turn. And everywhere they do turn is closed doors. You know,
right.
the cyber attacks are so sophisticated and vicious. Now, from attacks 2 years ago, they're now reaping up to data wiping, so wipe every part of your data in your organization, to poisoning the data. And I have watched numerous businesses go out of business due to a cyber attack to them.
Right. And it's brought down organizations in big scale, large sort of big infrastructure organizations as well have suffered from this, or?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking attacks every 11 seconds.
Wow.
But due to companies not reporting it, we're talking it's equal footing now.
Right. So
there's many companies who save their reputation in the business, they won't report it. But in the end, they just walk away from the business and the business goes into liquidation, what have you. So yeah, it's devastating because these are really, really good businesses. And they actually believed, oh yes, you're secure and what have you, don't need to do anything. And over the 30 years, I've been in, got thousands of boardroom meetings. And even then, I would say, can we put IT on the agenda? And of course, the C-suite at that time was basically saying, "Oh, that's all taken care of. We don't need to discuss IT."
Right.
And I've just seen this problem escalating in the last 10 years. And I started looking at tokenization in 2012, and straight away it clicked.
It clicked for you.
But
And we're going
eventually.
We're going to talk about the tokenization model and the business model and sort of what Zortrex is doing there. So it was really enough was enough. You saw too much. You saw too much crime in this area, and you saw organizations particularly go under, sort of thing. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Now I want to talk about the problem Zortrex is trying to solve. So do look at us, and it's great that we have you. What is the problem Zortrex trying to solve? I know we've digged down about the cyber crimes, but how do you implement blockchain technology into this, and what are you saying to your customers?
Well, basically, tokenization security is digital. It's digital security. In the past 2 to 3 years, people have been using the word tokenization in blockchain technology. Now, if tokenization in blockchain technology was being used, we wouldn't be having wallets being emptied.
Right.
We wouldn't be having the massive crypto exchanges being compromised. And this is where tokenization security and the lack of tokenization security. A couple of years ago, they're pushing everything through to try and get regulated by SEC. And the only way they could do that is to use the word tokenization. Tokenization is a very strong security. It's easy to get wrong, but when you get it right, it overtakes everything else that's on the planet. And that means total privacy, total data security, financial security, medical security. And this is needed today.
Today to prevent what's going on in a large scale, which is companies basically being threatened and basically attacked all the time. Is that correct?
Yeah, the companies, they have to start securing their own infrastructure. The governments can't do it. We're talking billions of companies worldwide who are getting ransom notes, different kind of threats, the double threat and using extortion. It's a horrible, horrible landscape.
I've seen it all.
Over the past 4 years, it's grown and grown. At first, it was over like 39% attack rate. Now we're even keel.
Right. Let's talk about statistics then. So to all my audience tuning in to this very important interview with Suzanne, who's actually doing something about, data security in a very large scale. So all the businesses and all the leaders that are following me, Zortrex, is in a position to do this, right? And is this kind of where you're going with it?
Yeah, well, there's been a couple of issues in the markets, especially financial market and the identity market. And Zortrex has identified 2 niches in the market, and that basically is to tackle the whole issue. And what we do is we enable the protection of the sensitive data within a transactional network for all the financial instruments. In response to tackle the other issues, offering, as well as designing a tokenized database. Every single contract, the financial personal data that's aligned with that is all secured. We need to secure this from the criminal landscape.
Right, right. So it's quite
We,
important.
our roadmap is very clear, and I know that we'll probably go on to that. Yes, but in order to tackle the major issues, the identity data, medical data, children's data, you're talking God knows how many universities, schools, nurseries have all been attacked just to get the data.
And it's also being leaked
It's
into...
really, really leaked into the dark web. Children's data is being used on the dark web. There's God knows how many Henry cards being opened, and people from all over the world put money into it, and the cyber criminals are taking it.
And it's great that Zortrex is actually doing. It's gone, and Zortrex is in this position to help companies, right? You're in that position, yes. Right. Let's talk about your roadmap then.
We're in the position.
Let's talk about your roadmap.
So basically, in the last year and a half, we built the token vault.
Okay.
And then we built the tokenized database. And there's going to be some announcements in the next few days. But we're also bringing to market the Zortrex stablecoin, the tokenized wallet, the tokenized smart contracts, and of course, asset tree.
So
and this is what we're going to achieve. This is what we're going to achieve this year. Yeah.
Okay, and it's amazing how you're actually planning this, yeah. And it's amazing what you're doing in the space, yeah.
I mean, basically, there is other competitors in the market that do tokenization, but nowhere to the level that we do tokenization.
Okay, and
Visa, MasterCard, just small amount on the PAN number.
Yeah.
We tokenize the whole credit card. Yeah.
It's interesting. I want to keep it very simple, this video interview. I'm sure maybe if we can follow up in all of this probably in the near future, but I just want to keep it simple. So Zortrex is actually in that industry to help companies protect themselves from data breaches, theft of data and so forth, and give them the tools needed to protect themselves. This is where you stand, right?
But we also stand to help them protect the data, protect their assets, and we also help them to evolve to working with new technologies such as blockchain, the Web3.
Yeah.
And Zortrex is the missing link to take the data from the real world environment over onto Web3, blockchain.
You are the bridge, basically.
We're the bridge to connecting the dots, yeah.
Okay. Now I want to hear about the data theft, because it's reported 49% of US companies have experienced data theft from the Thales data reports, which I've actually researched on. UK is probably somewhere around that range as well, with the way you're expressing it. How is Zortrex sort of positioned then to do something about this? We've talked about the company and its principles, but where is your position in this?
Our position in this is connecting the dots, securing the data seamlessly, interacting with legacy systems so they don't need any new technology to use Zortrex products. Security is a big cost in industry, and the way that we positioned ourselves is to make it one, secure for every company, two, affordable, three, for individuals to secure their own data. Third-party theft, supply chain, we can secure it all and link up the dots. So if one part of the supply chain does get attacked, then they're going to go any further.
They're not going to go further. And you stop there in terms of you'll protect them in that area.
Yeah. And we also highlight at the same time. And even if any attackers did get in, they get into absolute no data. There is no raw data there.
I think it's an absolute game changer, Suzanne. What the company and what your mission is. I think companies need this today. Would you agree? More and more protection is needed. And you are in that place.
We're in that place. We're in the place, the right time, the right moment.
I think so, yeah, because crypto and blockchain is evolving. There's more and more companies now starting to expand. So you're in that right place at the right time. And I want to know sort of what are you doing on your roadmap? How are companies going to work with you and sort of you help them in terms of helping what they need and so forth?
Well, first of all, legal contracts. Legal contracts within an organization. So whether it's an employee contract, whether it's a contract for selling shares within the company. Okay. So the Jets are now working on a full automated service. So every director in the company is involved right through from process one to the end process. If they're looking to sell assets within their company, that's been taken care of as well. And that's through the Zortrex Smart app. Everything is controlled through so if it's a 2-year contract, that's all embedded into the smart contract.
Maybe we can talk about technicals.
We're all in favour for regulations.
Yes, it's really important. And I think regulation is important because if once the regulation comes in, this will give smart contracts the green light to operate in the way they do, because we are in a sort of a wild west right now when it comes to blockchain and cryptocurrencies, and there's no clear regulation. Are you hoping that this is the year for regulation?
It has to be the year for regulation. The Wild West has been going on too long. Okay. And the individuals themselves are lost in it. Whether that's their identity, whether that's their money. We have to stabilize the economy. We're just coming out of 2-year pandemic. So it's really important now that they take this serious, not only for the growth of their company, but for the economy, for the UK economy, for any economy. Right. But and even though if we have the regulations, we also need companies verified on licensing. Licensing is very important, so people know that this company has been licensed with this regulation, this regulatory control.
It's totally unclear where we are with all this, because it looks like the UK has sort of fallen behind in the times as companies such as Zortrex, tries to do something about, the data industry in this area. Regulation hasn't really caught up, and the US is also a big prime advocate of all this. So would you think now that this week, I think they're putting an executive order in actually about regulation in the US. Do you think that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing they'll do?
It's got to be a good thing. Any kind of regulation is a good thing. If you don't have regulation, then you have the Wild West, and the Wild West cannot be controlled. Yes. And if there's nobody going to control certain aspects of technology, just like what's happened with the Facebooks and Netflix and what have you. Yeah. It's all been monopolized, and before it was individuals take convenience before security. Last week I interviewed about over 100 teenagers from the ages of 18 to 21. Right. And 41% of these people have already had their bank accounts compromised. Right. Now, they're not interested in convenience. They're interested in the security because, one, they haven't been funded to a number of things. The younger generation now is of security.
It is, and there's more problems, especially when more and more people are getting into the digital world. So digitization of the world is becoming more smarter, but at the same time, the hackers are becoming more
Digital is
smarter.
huge. Cloud is huge. Cloud is huge.
Yes, it is. Yes. Suzanne, it's a privilege to interview you. I mean, we've talked about the company and what you guys are doing. So I want to make it simple in terms of the audience. Is there any final, and we could talk about probably principles next time, because blockchain is still a new thing to a lot of people. Cryptocurrency is still a new thing, and I think they still need to grasp what the basics are, which is what is the wallet, how do I transact, what is Bitcoin. Is any final words you'd like to say about your model and about Zortrex?
The model itself is fantastic.
Yes.
It works seamlessly with legacy. You can use it anywhere in the world.
Okay.
Blockchain technology is a fantastic technology. Tokenization stops and turns the tables on cyber criminals. Full stop. If there's no data, there's no loss.
And I hope Zortrex will actually expand more and more and actually do something about it. And I think you're probably in the right place to actually do something about this. So I'd just like to tell the leaders of today and the people who follow me, do go to your website to check out what you guys do, find out more about Zortrex, find out about Suzanne, and obviously for her reasons and her passion as well to actually stand as a leader in this space. And it's an absolute privilege to have you on the channel, Suzanne, and hear your intake. Maybe in the next interview, we can talk more in depth about the actual principles of blockchain and data security, and let people learn about what Zortrex is and what you guys are doing. So I'm happy, and it's a privilege to have you on the channel.
No, thank you for having me, Nazareth, and giving me the opportunity to speak about our products. It's great. I'm excited. Data privacy has always been important, but today we're all at risk. And that's all I can say, and get that message out to the people, you know.
Don't you worry, we'll get that message out and get it out to my audience, and hopefully we'll get some connections going. So, absolute great to have you, Suzanne, and look forward to the next one.
Thank you, Nazareth.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. Thank you.